Yo, what's going on, Raider Nation? It's your boy Samoa Raider back at it again with yet another recap. And of course, we all know that the Raiders lost yet again. We lose 9 straight games in a row. And the Raiders sit at 2-11. I guess the bright side of all of that is the fact that the Raiders right now is sitting at the #1 overall pick for the NFL draft this upcoming offseason. But, shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars for losing. But it seems like the Raiders and the Giants are the only 2-win teams in the NFL right now. But I want to talk about the game first before I start yapping about the whole NFL draft and what I think the Raiders might do moving forward. Going into this game, a lot of Raider fans already kind of knew that the writing was on the wall. We all knew that we most likely was going to lose this game. Whether or not you believe that's on you. I think seeing this team and seeing how they've been playing, I find it as no surprise. But I think the most surprising thing is the fact that we went out there and just looked flat. We went out there playing flat. The Buccaneers was whooping our ass at the beginning of this game. We were down 14-0 just like that. And I was like, damn, the Raiders about to get their ass blown now. But shout out to the Raiders defense for keeping the Raiders in this game. The Raiders seemed like they were going to get blown out. But we make a comeback. Shout out to Kayvon Chason making a huge interception. Shout out to Jack Jones making a huge interception. Shout out to the whole defense for just being really aggressive in this game. A team that hasn't had a lot of turnovers in the past couple of games. Our defense really showed up in today's game. Overall, had 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, 5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, 8 quarterback hits. The defense played really, really great. Good enough to win the game, but we got to go back to that offensive side of the ball. I know a lot of people were praising AOC. I was praising AOC, and I feel like AOC last week, especially coming back off of injury, came into last week's game and showed out, having over 300 plus yards, throwing 3 touchdowns. My boy was balling out, and I thought, you know what? AOC could possibly look just like that for the rest of the season with the new offensive coordinator, but we quickly found out that AOC came right back down to earth and looked like the same damn quarterback that we seen from last season. Of course, I would still say that the offensive play calling is much, much better than before, but that's not saying much. And looking at this game, AOC really struggled in this game. Went 11 for 19 for 104 yards, had no touchdowns, had 1 interception, almost had 2 interceptions, but luckily the ball hit the ground and he had 1 fumble in this game. Right after the Kayvon Chason interception, AOC quickly gave the ball right back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm like, what the fuck, man? But AOC, I don't know what the hell happened to him after last game going into this game. And then on top of that, AOC did get carted off the field later on in the game after a late hit, which I thought was bullshit. The referees all of a sudden don't know where the fuck to look, right? Because Kalijah Cansey, being the hoe that he is, waited a whole ass 3 steps to hit Aiden O'Connell after he threw the ball. And that's what led to his injury, which I thought was bullshit. I hope that the NFL comes down on Kalijah Cansey some way, somehow, because I really think that was such a whole move and that was bullshit. As far as AOC, that really sucked because now we don't even know what the future holds for AOC moving forward. Will he be out the rest of the season? He just came back from injury. So for him to just go down with injury just like that, like, damn, bro, he's more fragile than Jimmy G was last season. But, I'm not going to talk about that too much. AOC, like I said, was struggling in this game, had a couple of good throws here and there, had a couple good drives here and there, but for the most part, the passing game wasn't all there. After he got carted off, then we had to see what Desmond Ridder had, and trust me, ain't nothing special there. Desmond Ridder was just as bad. Went 12 for 18 for 101 yards, 1 interception, and a fumble. That shows you how good our quarterback room is right now, especially with Gardner Minshew out, man. I don't know. All the quarterbacks that we have are horrible. But like I said, the bright side is we most likely will be getting our future franchise quarterback this upcoming draft. At least for AOC, though, he had a rushing touchdown, a 1-yard rushing touchdown earlier in this game to kind of keep the Raiders in this game before halftime. Like I said, quickly coming out the gate, the Raiders were down 14-0, and then going into halftime, the Raiders came back and it was 14-10, and we had the ball coming out at half, and of course we didn't do shit. I do want to highlight one player though on that AOC rushing touchdown, Maus Kanai Maunga. He was in there playing fullback, and had a little bit of push to help AOC get over the goal line, and we got at least a touchdown out of that. That was the only touchdown that we had in this game. But outside of all of that, outside of the defense playing well and our offense looking subpar for the most part, I mean, that's nothing new for us. I want to give a huge shout out. If I had to give a player in the game to anybody, I don't really do that anymore because we've been losing a lot of damn games and I don't feel like I should be too positive. but if there's one player that I do want to highlight throughout this whole game is running back Sincere McCormick. My goodness, man. Sincere McCormick looking like the best running back we had all season. Yes, Alexander Mattison looked pretty solid earlier on the season. Amir Abdullah has looked solid here and there, but for the most part, as a pure running back, as a guy that could go out there and break tackles and move the chains, Sincere McCormick has been that guy. Last week, he balled out against the Kansas City Chiefs, and in his second start, my boy went out there and balled out as well. Had 15 carries for 78 yards, 5.2 yards per carry, and had his longest run for 29 yards. I was really hoping that he could get into the end zone in this game because I feel like he deserves it. I feel like if anything, outside of Brock Bowers, I know Brock Bowers is going to be Brock Bowers, even though Brock Bowers didn't do much in this game, Sincere McCormick, he brought some type of spark to this offense, especially in the run game, a run game that we've been missing all season long, and I know that he's going to get more opportunities moving forward, and I feel like he should be another core player to stay on this roster. And as somebody that's been rooting for him since the offseason, man, it's really great to see him get that shine out there. It's great to see that, he's putting in that work and it's really paying off for him. And you can tell that the run game is easily looking better and better week by week. So like I said before, I'm excited to see what he can do for the rest of the season from here moving on now. So shout out to Sincere McCormick. Of course, like I said, I got to give a bit of a shout out to Brock Bowers because today he broke a rookie record, the most catches from a rookie tight end in NFL history, surpassing Sam Laporta's record that he broke just last season, I believe so, with 87 receptions overall. So shout out to Brock Bowers. Didn't really have a big game today. Only came away with 3 receptions for 49 yards, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Brock Bowers has been balling out all season, has been a really great individual player. We'll see how the future holds. I mean, when we do get a solid quarterback, I want to see how much he will be playing in this offense, how well he's going to be playing in this offense. And I do believe that the future is bright with him. Now let's give some credit to our other tight end. Michael Mayer had a big day today, 7 receptions for 68 yards, played really solid ball today. It's just crazy right now that the Raiders actually have 2 really good tight ends on the roster right now. Like I said before, who knows how good they could be when we do find the franchise quarterback of the future. And speaking of the future, we already know that right now the Raiders are sitting at a prime spot. The #1 overall pick in the NFL draft, like I stated before. The Jaguars won today. Shout out to the Jaguars. The Giants lost today. I was hoping that they could win today, but they weren't able to win just like the Raiders. So that leaves the Raiders and the Giants as the only 2 teams left with 2 wins on the season. And the Raiders hold that #1 spot right now, which I guess is the silver lining in all this. I would say it's something to kind of root for because we know that half of Raider Nation is always going to root for us to tank, and the other half is just hoping that we don't embarrass ourselves on Sunday. But one thing's for certain though, Raider Nation, we're going to get that quarterback, and it most likely be Shedeur Sanders, whether we have the #1 pick, #2 pick, maybe even the #3 pick, who knows. But we all know that the Raiders want Shedeur. I want Shedeur over here. I don't even mind if we get Cam Ward. Whoever we bring, I'm down with. I know a lot of Raider fans was going crazy over Shedeur Sanders' story that he posted over the weekend, passing by Allegiant Stadium with the caption saying legendary, and everybody's kind of going crazy. And I'm like, oh, damn, we know that he wants to come over here. How crazy would it be to have him over here as the quarterback starting here in Allegiant Stadium? Now, there was another video that was going viral over the weekend as well, was the video of Coach Prime telling AP to go draft those Sanders boys.
Now I just need you to do one thing. I need you to draft those Sanders boys next year.
Now, first of all, I don't know if Shiloh's going to get drafted. Second of all, this clip was actually a really old clip from earlier on in the year during the Super Bowl week. It was a different thing. This did not happen over this past weekend. This was way, way back. But I don't think that the message changes because I do feel like if there's anywhere that Coach Prime wants his son to go play at least Shedeur is in Las Vegas, because I feel like that's prime time. That's the perfect location, and we're in need of a quarterback. So bring him over here. And at this point of the season, I am pretty sure that the Raiders are going to keep AP around. So we'll see what type of moves we're going to make. But if we have that opportunity to go get Shedeur, he most likely is going to be that guy over here in Las Vegas. But with that said, though, Raider Nation, I don't want to waste any more of you guys' time. We already know what the deal is. The Raiders lost. How do you guys feel about the game today? How do you feel about the Raiders moving forward? Are you guys happy that we got the #1 pick? Are you guys pissed off right now because we lost yet another game? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Until the next one, this is your boy, Some More Raider, and your boys, yow.